Good afternoon, friends, and thank you for joining the Gospel Grit podcast. My name is Kevin, and I want to take a step back and give you the reason of the birth of the Gospel Grit podcast and why I decided to launch it on YouTube. New episodes still will come out every Thursday. Every Thursday morning is when they're scheduled to come out. So you can tune in on this YouTube channel or on my Spotify platform. There you could either change it will always be video and audio, but you can change it from audio only or video and audio if you like at Spotify. But I didn't start the Gospel Grit podcast because I had extra time on my hands. I started it because I couldn't shake this burden that I had, a burden to tell the truth, a burden to reach people who feel like they've been sidelined by life, who have been sidelined by church hurt, and just by spiritual confusion. A strong burden to speak plainly about the gospel, not dressed up, not watered down, not hidden behind religious jargon, but raw, real, and full of grace. I am a pastor at West Bay Advent Christian Church in Panama City Beach, Florida. I've been there for 5 years now, and I preach every week. I sit with people in their pain. I open the word and try to make it clear, but I kept running into this wall. There are so many people who won't walk through the doors of church. And it's not because they hate God, and it's not because they're rebellious, but because they're tired, because they're delusioned, or maybe they just don't know where to start. And I thought, what if I could meet them where they are? What if I could take the grit of everyday life, the struggle, the questions, the mess, and show how the gospel speaks into it? And not with polished answers, but with honest hope. And that's how Gospel Grit was born. Now, I can tell you this podcast isn't going to be a perfect podcast. It's it's not for perfect people. It's for the ones who feel like they're barely holding on. This podcast is for the ones who've been told that they're too messed up, they're too broken, they're too far gone, they're too complicated. It's for the ones who need to hear that Jesus didn't come for the cleaned up. He didn't come for the well behaved. Jesus came for the weary. He came for the ones with grit because I wanted to expand. There's that word. I wanted to expand the reach. I wanted to put a face to a voice. I wanted to see that this isn't just content, that it's real connection, that it's true connection. It's me either sitting in a renovated office or sitting here in this home office of mine or sitting out in the backyard by the bay underneath this humongous, beautiful southern magnolia. Sitting in any of those places, sharing what God's been pressing into my heart. It's me opening the word and saying, let's wrestle with this together. It's me saying, you're not alone. So YouTube lets me speak to people who might never find the podcast on their own. It lets me share clips, visuals, moments of reflection. It lets me invite people into the story, and not just my story, but the gospel story. The story of gritty grace. The story of a Savior who meets us in the mud and lifts us up. And I didn't start this to build a brand. I started it to build bridges, to say to the single mom out there who's exhausted, to the young man who's questioning everything, and even to the older believer who's wondering if their faith still matters. And to all of them, I say, you're seen and you're loved, and the gospel is still good news. See, folks, I believe in the power of the word. I believe in its urgency. I believe in the soon coming of Jesus Christ. And I believe that media, when used with humility and clarity, can be a wonderful tool for revival, and not flashy revival, not emotional hype, but the kind that starts in the heart and spills out into everyday life. So if you're watching this, if you've stumbled across this channel, I want you to know that this channel is for you, not because I have all the answers. Believe me, I do not have all the answers, but because I know the one who does, and I want to walk with you toward God. Gospel grit is about truth and tenderness. It's about conviction and compassion. It's about standing firm in a world that's constantly shifting. And it's about doing it together. So I ask you to continue to follow this channel, like and share. And in doing that, that will help me reach many, many far and wide with the gospel. And if you will, do me a huge favor and not just share on YouTube or Spotify, but Facebook is a big platform. Share on Facebook and tell people about the birth of the Gospel Grit podcast, because I believe we can all help each other to stand our ground, to stand on the solid ground, to stand on the rock, to defend our faith. So please do that for me. Stay strong and be blessed.